Yes, yes, and yes. This is your boy, 24K the Great, and I got a good one for you race guys out there, you dragsters. Understand me now, this is the Kyosho GT2 drag build. The tips on the suspension and certain things you have to do to get this Kyosho up to par to become a true performer on the drag track. Understand me now. First of all, what you're going to have to do, since this is a 20-year-old design chassis, and they have three different chassis. They have an ultralight chassis, they have a light chassis, and they have a thick chassis. And most of the cars that come out the box have the light chassis, not the ultralight. This is the ultralight chassis. Okay, it's a little bit thinner than the chassis that comes out the box, but it's a 20-year-old design chassis. It has a lot of holes in the chassis because they didn't change the chassis from electric to electric. They left it nitro. So it's a lot of holes in the chassis. There's unwanted holes that you don't need. So you're going to have to cover those holes up in the chassis, because if not, air is going to get in the front of the car, up under the car, come up through those unwanted holes and give you the parachute effect. That means your car get to flying up in the air, making your car do things you don't want it to do. So we're going to take care of that off the top by taping the unwanted holes up, okay? Number two, you're going to have to do a good shim job to this Kyosho, because the Kyosho, like I said again, it's been around 20 years, but the car have withstand the test of time because it's built well, because of the dips are very strong, and the car have strong parts on it as well. Okay, so you're gonna have to go through, your dips. Make sure your dips are shimmed and tuned, and oil the oils that you want to use for your dips and everything, and make sure your shims and your dips are correct. Number three, you're gonna have to get this 3D bumper. As you can see, I got in the front of this thing. It's a 3D bumper, and that bumper, it keeps the body from folding in the front when the wind hit it. A lot of you guys stiffen your bodies up. We know what cotton, fiberglass, or whatnot, but that bumper is a good investment to have for this Kyosho GT2. Understand me now? Dig that. The shocks, I like the shocks on the Kyosho GT2, but the thing is, with those shocks, I want them real stiff in the front, so I just got some aftermarket shocks. I didn't have to do it, but I did. And the springs I use is from a Traxxas GTR. Understand me? E-Revo springs. They have different rates, and a lot of guys spend a lot of money on the aftermarket spring, and them Traxxas spring work so well on different setups, long as the valve body fits the spring, that you can get different rates, and they have the real stout ones, man, where they keep this car from bottom out when I hit the brake. Okay? Understand me now, because I don't want it to bottom out and screw up my body scrub and all that old type of crap. Number three, well, it's number 3 or 4, you're going to have to get these guys here, make some awesome dog bones, axles. A lot of guys bend those axles in these Kyoshos under power because they come out the box with a 4S system on it. It would take 6, but it's a wild boy on that 6S. And when you're going up from 6 to 7 to 8S, you're going to have some dog bones on that thing that can stand the power. And EM Performance make a kit for this Kyosho GT2. It's worth spending your money on. So invest you some money on some good dog bones if you think about drag racing this car. Also, you're going to have to get suede bars for this Kyosho, okay? The Kyosho out the box do not come with the suede bars. So you get a suede bar kit they sell on eBay or A-Main for this Kyosho to keep, this thing in order when they get on the power and you get to the big end and things like that. You want this car to stay straight, because the object of the game is going straight. Keeping your gyro from working so hard. You want to do the necessity, the things that you need to do to keep the car going straight. Also, the A-arms on this Kyosho, okay? You're going to have to shim the A-arms, which I showed y'all in my last videos. I took me some armor clips that goes into the A-arms, and I shimmed them with those, okay? Also, I used a different shim when it came to the hub carrier. I'm going to get to that in a minute, all right? use a different shim. You're gonna have to go around this Kyosho, my guys, and you're gonna have to basically shim this whole car because these wheels had a whole lot of play. That's why I left one so I can show you what you need to get to kill it. They have a whole lot of play in the A-arms. They got to have a play in the hub carriers as well. So you have to take care of that problem. And this is how you take care of that problem, my guys. You're gonna have to shim the A-arms. Okay, you got to shim the hub carriers too. You got to put a shim here. Get this shim as thin as you can get this shim, okay, to go up in there, you know what I'm saying, to cut that wheel wobble out, all right? Also, I use the Traxxas pins, which is this number here, to go in the hub carriers. They're 3640, all right? I use the long pins because they have, you know, different screws or whatever, but I like these better from the Traxxas, understand me now. I use the Traxxas pins to go through the A-arms, and I use these small shims right here to make up the space. Okay, it's very important, my guys. And I use the oversized bearings on the inside of the hub carrier. Okay, it's very important that you get all of that wheel slop out of that car, because you want that car to go straight, man. And that's a lot of things. A lot of guys forget to do. They just, you know, put power on the car and don't do any chassis work. All right, you got to make sure things like that are very tight on your car, man. You don't want that wheel, you don't want that A-arm moving back and forward. That had a lot to do with, you know, bending them axles, because a lot of things was moving around. And you got to stop all that movement and play, man. That's the number one. Like I said, you got to make sure your suspension, you got to have your foundation, you know, to be able to take the power that you're trying to throw at it. Understand me now? This is 24K the Great. And I am a car freak. Listen to me. If you're trying to run these Kyoshos, GT2s, drag them, this is some advice I'm trying to give you. I ain't saying you got to take my advice, but this is what I have found, you know, what's the weak points of this car for making a true performer out there drag racing with Armor and Hobeyos. You can take my advice or not. I don't care if you do or don't. I'm just giving it to you because this is an RC community, and a lot of these guys hide things from people like, you know, we wasn't going to find out or anything. I'm just giving it to you because, you know, I can't die with the game. Might as well help my RC subscribers out because they're doing the same thing I'm doing. My name is 24K the Great, and y'all have a good one. Peace out.